Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Erica and I'm with Project Grows, and today I'll be showing you a delicious recipe from the Virginia Family Nutrition Program called Simple Pasta. The ingredients you'll need are an 8-ounce packet of spaghetti, canola oil, onions and garlic, these are from the farm, pasta sauce, basil leaves, parsley, pepper, and water. Ground beef is optional. Come on, let's get cooking. Before handling food, make sure to wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap. Now let's get cooking. First, we'll want to cook the noodles as instructed on the box. While waiting for the water to boil, this is a good time to prepare the garlic and onions. Once the noodles are cooked to your liking, strain and set them aside. In a skillet, heat the oil on medium to high heat. Once the oil gets warm, add the ground beef, onions, and garlic. If you do not have ground beef, feel free to add more onions. Stir the ingredients often to properly mix and so nothing sticks to the pan. While the onions and garlic are being sauteed, prepare the parsley, basil, and black pepper. When the onions have a slightly translucent appearance, you have sauteed the ingredients. Once this is done, stir in the remaining ingredients and bring the mixture to a boil. Reduce the heat and allow to simmer for 4 minutes. Now we can combine our pasta with our simmered ingredients. Once combined, you have made a simple spaghetti dish with tomato sauce. Enjoy! The garlic really makes it great. And now, Thomas will show us our second recipe.
Hey guys! My name is Thomas, and I'm a member of the Project Grows education team. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make our second recipe, which is the black bean and corn salsa. This recipe also comes from the Virginia Family Nutrition Program, so make sure you check out their website, get tons of super cool recipe ideas, and without further ado, let's check out what ingredients we'll need today. Here's what we'll need to make the recipe. First is black beans, corn, some diced tomatoes, chilies, which came with my can of diced tomatoes. We'll need 1 onion, which we'll cut later. We'll need canola oil, lime juice, a bowl and spoon for mixing, measuring spoons and a measuring cup, and of course, since we're having salsa, we'll need some tortilla chips to go along with it. Now before we start cooking or preparing any recipes, it's always super important to wash our hands. So now we're just going to start with our onion. And I just have here a whole raw onion. We're going to cut the ends off. The top, we're going to make a larger cut. And then at the bottom, we'll make one a little bit smaller. And you can tell which side is the bottom based on the roots grown out of it. So you should be able to see like some stringy hairs hanging off the end. Make a shallower cut on this side. And again, you want to hold the onion in place, make sure it's not rolling around too much. It is round, so it will tend to slip out of your hands if you're not too careful. And then once we've made those cuts, we will get ready to cut it in half. So I'll just line it up, have the bigger side on the bottom, and just have a nice even cut right down the middle. That way we open up the onion, we have 2 halves to work with, and then we can start working on peeling off the outside. And now when we're making the cuts, we want to go from the top to the bottom of the onion. And you can see here, I'm going to leave a little bit of the onion intact on the bottom near the handle of the knife and cut all the way through the onion near the point of the knife. This will kind of help it keep its shape as I move the onion around and make more cuts along the way. So now we're making some cuts across the onion, basically just what we did before, but now we're going the other way. And you can see that the layers of the onion are kind of working with us here, and when we make our cuts, they kind of fall off into these nice little cubes that we're looking for. So next we're going to move on to the corn, and we're going to start by draining the corn. To do this, we're just going to lift the top off about 3/4 of the way, hold it down with our finger, and then with that we can let the liquid inside drain out. Yeah, next we're gonna just empty the corn into the strainer, give it a good shake, make sure we get everything that's in there. And we're gonna turn on the water and just rinse it. After one more shake and rinse, we'll be ready to send it into the mixing bowl. So next we're gonna move on to the tomatoes. And I don't have that convenient top that I had on the corn for this can, so I'm just going to use a can opener to open it up. But again, we'll use the method where we leave it almost fully taken off. That way we can easily use our finger to hold the top of the can, and then the liquid inside can quickly drain out. Just like the corn, we'll dump it all in there, give it a good shake, make sure we get everything out of there, and then again, turn on the water, make sure everything in the colander gets covered. You want to make sure you shake it, and then we'll be ready to add it to our mixing bowl. Then next, for the canned vegetables, we're going to move on to the black beans. So now that we have most of our ingredients ready, we can go ahead and add the onions that we cut. And now we can just do a quick preliminary mixing. Alright, so now that we have the rest of our ingredients ready, we're going to add in the last of our ingredients, which are the canola oil and the lime juice. So I'm going to start with the canola oil, and like the recipe says, we'll need 2 tablespoons. So now we're going to move on to the lime. Again, we'll need 2 tablespoons of this. Awesome, and now that we have our ingredients ready, we can go ahead and start the final mixing process. And so you can see at the bottom, we've got a lot of corn, and on the side, we kind of have a lot of onions. So we're really going to want to mix that around, really dig down to the bottom, and get all the ingredients well mixed. So even though the recipe tells us to wait overnight for the salsa to settle, I'm kind of hungry and we've been working hard today, so I figured why not just have a little bit right now. And without further ado, let's see how it is. That is super good. And one thing that's really cool about this dish is that it's so easy to customize too. You know, I might go in later, add a little bit more lime juice, or maybe add some cumin to spice it up. And thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the recipes, and have a good day.